Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. This is Luke from InfoSecLuke. Today's video I thought we'd try something a little bit different and just talk about one of the great options for kind of accelerating your career in cybersecurity. And it's not right for everybody, but it's definitely something to consider if you're eligible, and that's joining the military. So if you haven't seen my cybersecurity winding career intro video that I did, then you might not know that I'm in the military, or maybe the hat gives it away. Was in the military, I should say. I did 4 years in the Navy, and then about a year and a half in the United States Air Force as an officer before I got medically separated. Wasn't in a cybersecurity track in either of those branches specifically, but I did do IT work in the Air Force, so that's kind of how I got my start in IT and cybersecurity. But I thought in today's video it might be a good idea to just kind of talk to people who are of military age, anybody maybe from the ages of 18 to 35 that's in relatively good health or can get in shape kind of quickly. Male or female, obviously, just have to have certain qualifications physically and as far as your criminal background. Go through MEPS and all that if you're enlisted, and then I think officers as well. But yeah, I went to ChatGPT here and I asked it the question, how can joining the military help me with a career in cybersecurity? Right? This is a cybersecurity channel, so let's see how Chat answered that. It says, joining the military can provide a powerful springboard for a career in cybersecurity. Here are the key ways that it can help. Number one is access to advanced cyber training, often for free. The military offers world-class cybersecurity training, often equivalent to or exceeding what you get in civilian universities or corporate programs. You may receive training in network defense and intrusion detection, digital forensics, cyber threat intelligence, offensive security, or red teaming. These courses often lead to industry certifications like CompTIA Security Plus, Network Plus, CASP, the CISSP for advanced roles, Certified Ethical Hacker or CEH, Cisco or Microsoft certs, and DoD 8570 compliant certifications. Number two, you gain real-world mission-critical experience, so you're getting hands-on experience securing networks, responding to cyber incidents, and defending critical infrastructure. Operations involve nation-state level threats, providing experience that surpasses most civilian entry-level jobs. And then it goes on to say that roles like cybersecurity operations specialist, which is a 17 Charlie in the Army, or information systems technician in the Navy directly map to civilian cybersecurity careers. Number three, and this is a big one, is you'll get a security clearance, usually a secret or a top secret, which is a huge advantage in the cybersecurity job market, especially if you want to go on to work for like a government agency or a defense contractor. That'll be a requirement that'll definitely serve you well if you have it. It's very difficult and expensive to obtain as a civilian, but you get that as part and parcel of the package of joining the military. And it says with that, you're eligible for jobs that pay 20 to 40% more on average. You also can't forget about number four, a big one, the tuition assistance in the GI Bill. So with the post 9/11 GI Bill, I think when I used mine, they valued that at anywhere between like $85,000 to $100,000 worth of living expenses and tuition, all baked into one package there. So you could use that to get your degree in cybersecurity or computer science. You can even use it towards attending certification boot camps or technical schools. And you can enroll in online programs while you serve, or you can wait till you get out and dedicate yourself full time to that. Number five is a big one. It says you get veteran preference in federal and contractor roles. So you could get a leg up at companies like Lockheed, Raytheon, Booz Allen Hamilton. They'll often prioritize veteran hires. And then number six is a big one. You'll have a strong professional network. You'll be surrounded by top tier talent in IT and cyber operations. You could transition to positions like cybersecurity analyst, penetration tester, cloud security engineer, and even CISO roles in the long term. And then the intangibles, number seven, you get the skills of discipline and adaptability. Military often instills soft skills that employers love, such as attention to detail, operational discipline, chain of command communication, and stress resilience. And yeah, there's a lot more I want to get into in this video. I don't want to just read off the chat. I think it'd be fun to actually watch some of the videos that the military puts out advertising their career paths. And yeah, let's get into it. So of course I'm a little biased. My first branch and my most beloved branch was the U.S. Navy. They're always great at their videos, so let's go ahead and see what they got going on here. It's about 1:10.
You see a bad guy, you come in and investigate, track how they got in and what they're doing.
A CTN is very specific to computer networking. We're very focused on preventing other actors from getting into our systems, and on the flip side, getting intelligence through various means for our government.
This is the new frontier. Like, this is the new warfare.
Gotta love the aircraft carriers.
You have offensive cyber operations.
We're typically known as a quote-unquote hackers with the Navy.
And then there's defensive cyber operations, protecting the networks, protecting the infrastructure.
We actually have an incident response kit. We take it on a site, take traffic from a network, and we do analysis based off of an incident. I try to make little tweaks to make it even better than what it is.
Cyber changes daily, and you have to know how to change with it. You have to have that training, you have to have the adaptability.
NSA, coming straight out of college, was really, really hard to get into. And I'm doing the same job and getting to do it for the Navy.
Very cool, very cool. So although I'm partial to the Navy, I did serve in the Air Force as well, and it's definitely another solid branch, even though they get their share of being the butt of the jokes, you know, the chair force and so forth. But they've got another, you know, opportunity here, different tracks for cyber intelligence, cyberspace operations officer. Whenever you see anything officer, that will require the 4-year degree. So you'll have to have some kind of bachelor's degree in a related field in order to become a commissioned officer. So it's great for someone just out of college, but if you're just out of high school and you're not, you know, at that stage yet, then you got to look for the enlisted path. And that could be things like intelligence analyst, or, you know, even some of the ones up here, I think, where it's like Spectrum Defense Operations. So yeah, just go out there and click around. You can see this one says enlisted. A lot of times too, the great thing is that when the military's short on recruitment numbers, they'll offer sign-on bonuses. So if you're one that's maybe partway through a college degree program and you're kind of worried about the amount of student debt you're racking up, you could potentially get some kind of bonus which would be able to help clear that debt. And then on top of that, you get the GI Bill, which is would pay for the rest of your schooling. So a lot of times it does make good financial sense to take that big next step. It's not without its drawbacks. The life of the military it's a rigorous one, both physically and mentally. You got to be prepared to knuckle under and follow orders. If you're the strong-willed independent type, that can take some adjustment. But you know, everything good in life comes with some degree of sacrifice, and I, for one, can only attribute whatever modicum of success I've had in my career in large part to being in the military. It taught me a lot, even though I wasn't, like I said, in a cybersecurity specific field. I was more aviation electronics in the Navy, and then healthcare administration officer in the Air Force, luckily in the IT track. Both of those jobs just taught me so much and set me up for success. So that being said, let's go ahead and go over to the Army. Boo. But the Army is still a good option for folks. You know, definitely a branch that's, I think it's the oldest branch of the military. Or is it the Navy? I'd have someone fact check me on that in the comments. But yeah, the Army, you know, definitely has both officer and enlisted opportunities as well. Here's some of them down here. They go by the naming conventions here: Electromagnetic Warfare Specialist 17 Echo, Cyber Operations Specialist 17 Charlie. There's your officer level 17A or Alpha, Cyber Electromagnetic Warfare Officer 17 Bravo. So you can, you know, dive into some of these. Here's one. It says bonuses up to 16K right now for this enlisted positions in electromagnetic warfare. So yeah, you just got to meet the requirements. They're slightly different, I think, across branches, but largely the same. Be at least 17 but under 31 in the years of commissioning as an officer. Be medically and physically fit while in good moral standing. Be a U.S. citizen by the time you commission as an officer. Be a college graduate by the time you're commissioned as an officer. Complete background check and questionnaire along with successful interview and proof of records. And then I think for enlisted, it's a little different. Obviously, you have to meet all the same requirements, except you don't need the college degree. You just need the high school diploma and have a passing score on the Army's entrance test or the ASVAB, which honestly isn't too difficult. If you're in the cybersecurity field, you'll probably have no problem with that at all. I couldn't find much on the Marines as far as their public-facing website, but it looks like they do have a Marine Corps Forces Cyber Command, and they are designed to protect critical infrastructure from cyber attack. It's more of a small group. A total of approximately 800 personnel was established in January of 2010 under the command of Lieutenant General George J. Flynn. And so, yeah, if you're into the Marine life, obviously a little bit different breed there, but still a great branch. They do have cybersecurity options as well. And then I wanted to show this video. It's actually 4 years old, but it's the most recent one I could find from the Air Force. It's about 3 minutes long, but let's see how much we can get through here.
The training pipeline required for this field starts out at Goodfellow Air Force Base, Texas. You will attend a course there for 2 months, building and developing any kind of cyber terminology or computer terminology that you'll need. And then once you've completed that program, you PCS to Quarry Station, Pensacola, Florida.
Oh yeah,
where you'll attend the Joint Cyber Analysis course.
Navy.
That is a 6-month-long training program designed to take you from just a minimal understanding of the basics all the way to mastery of network communications and
He's
other
working on some kind of
complicated
command line there.
various processes that are associated with computer networking.
Cyber intelligence analyst.
What makes JCAC so challenging is that there's a lot of information. For a lot of people, it's your first time finding out what an IP address is. And then to retain all that information, it's a quick turnaround. We have different modules to teach you different parts of the cyber realm. And then you quickly test on that, and it's on to the next section. And then at the very end, you have a test on the whole course, 6 months of information that has been jam-packed into your brain. It's very challenging.
I personally found JCAT pretty challenging, especially starting out with no technical background. It was pretty difficult to grasp the concepts, but eventually I did catch on and I passed every test, so it's definitely possible for anyone who thinks they can't make it through.
Students can maximize their success in completing the pipeline is studying. You gotta put the time. People pick up things at different levels, different speeds. So just understand where you're at, and if you know that you're struggling a little more, then put the time in. Reach out to your instructors, reach out to your liaisons, work with your peers.
And that's great advice, whether you're going into the military or just staying in the civilian world. It's all about studying and networking, so great advice there from the sergeant.
And just study.
If you can ask questions to figure out and understand the concepts and the information, I think it makes a world's difference in how you perform in the pipeline.
Graduation, that's always exciting.
What makes it rewarding in the end is when you finally pass and you make it through, and that you were the ones that made it to the end.
It's such a good feeling to finally graduate and earn your cyber wings and your intel badge, especially since our training is almost a year long. So it's so rewarding to finally get not one but 2 badges that you get to put on, so it's a very good feeling.
For me, earning my cyber wings was a moment where I realized that this is actually really just the beginning. Now I've made it into my field, and it's up to me to become an expert.
Awesome. So again, a great video from the Air Force there, very inspirational. If I was to do over and I knew about cybersecurity as a track, I might have consider that over aviation electronics technician, just because I mean, look at it, what the field has become today. It's one of the hottest fields out there. Salaries upwards of $150,000 for a lot of positions if you're in cyber and you're doing well. Aviation electronics, yeah, there's a niche for it, and it's definitely still something that you can get hired for in the civilian world. But yeah, knowing what I know now, I might have wanted to try my hand at one of these enlisted cyber fields. So again, this video isn't sponsored by the military. I'm not getting paid by any recruiters in any of the branches to put this out there. And I do want to be honest at the end here just about the amount of sacrifice it does take to join the military, especially in today's, geopolitical climate. You are putting your life on the line to some degree, whether you see combat or not. You're signing up for becoming government property for at least 4 years, and they can send you anywhere in the world, whether that's a conflict zone or just some remote part of the world where you're away from friends and family for a long time. For me, I never had to do a full-length deployment. I actually was on an aircraft carrier. The most I was out to sea was like 3 months, and that's just because I got shore duty first, and then I transitioned into the ship life with a year left on my contract. And I actually got carted off the boat or flown off the aircraft carrier when we were stationed right outside Japan, and came home before they did their full 6-month cruise. So I'm definitely one of the lucky ones. There's a lot of friends and family that I have that have seen, full-length tours in Afghanistan or Iraq. And, nowadays with the conflict in Ukraine and with the conflict in the Middle East, you're definitely putting yourself at risk by doing this. But just like anything, even in cyber, it's risk reward. What are the risks? What are the benefits? And you kind of got to weigh that yourself. Talk to those, whose opinions you value and cherish in your life, and make the right decision for you. But the benefits, I would say, really come down to the quality of training you'll get, the real world experience, the discipline and the character building qualities of being a part of an organization like that. And then, the perks of having the GI Bill, the perks of, having the connections to get a government job afterwards, those types of things. Really, you can't put a price tag on them. So, yeah, but if you guys have any questions or comments about the military, maybe you've served, maybe you can attest to what it's done for you in your civilian career after the military. If you're still in, how's that going for you? Any advice you could give to young or people just out of high school or college, what would you tell them about joining the military? And I'd love to hear your comments in the comment section. If you can just remember to either like or share or subscribe, that would also help a lot. Happy to do more videos on the military and so forth. But anyway, this is InfoSecLuke signing out.